What's happening? J.C Agajanian here. Welcome to the Agent Success Podcast. Today I have the pleasure of introducing my friend and co-worker, Adrian Quijano, who has been doing big things as a young agent in this industry. And thanks for coming out to be on the podcast, man.
Dude, I'm excited. Thanks for having me, JC.
Yeah, dude. So we always like to tell people a little bit about kind of what led you to the industry, how you got to this point, and I know a lot of your backstory, being that we have a good relationship, but tell the folks a little bit about the tons of experience that you were able to bring to the real estate industry. Even though you didn't have real estate experience, you were kind of like unknowingly being groomed for what we're doing now through a lot of your earlier experiences. So let's kind of bring people up to speed real quick, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I got so much respect for you. We've been friends for more than 2.5 years now, and we met in the industry, and you helped me so much in my career, and I'm so glad that we're still good friends, and you're like a older brother to me.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And thanks for having me today.
Yeah.
Yeah, where do I start?
Well, people probably don't know that you grew up on a small island, like super far away from here.
Yeah, told by 8 Mile Island. I grew up on an island called Tinian. It's right next to Guam. Born in Saipan, raised in Tinian. Left when I was 18, joined the Marine Corps. That was my only option to get out of the island and make something with my life. Served a couple years in the Marines. I was traveling to basically all around the world, Okinawa, Japan, Hawaii, Korea, and then I ended up here in Camp Pendleton, Southern California. Lived in Orange County for a couple years. This was back in 2014, I think. I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that book absolutely changed my life. Learned about ESBI, the 4-quadrant, right? You want to be in the other side of the quadrant, which is you want to be a business owner and investor if you want to be ahead and build that financial freedom. And that really started my my thoughts of being in real estate because of Robert Kiyosaki. He was also a Marine pilot.
I didn't know he served, actually. That's pretty cool. I mean, I've read the book, but I didn't know that he was in the military.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I guess for you, have you read the book before?
Yeah. It's been a long time, but I actually really related not with like my dad or in-law or anything like that, but with my maternal grandfather and my paternal grandfather. And I really related to the book because my mom's dad was a pioneer in medicine. He was an OBGYN, one of the first guys to do the epidurals, like in like early stages at UFC, and everything. And he was successful, but my dad's dad was largely uneducated, went into business right away, and he's the one who ended up with an estate in Beverly Hills to pass down, and all this wealth that went forward to my dad's generation. So I really had like the rich grandpa, poor grandpa. I mean, my poor grandpa wasn't poor, but the mentality and the idea of working for the paycheck as opposed to being the entrepreneur and the investor. So I really related to it big time.
So you're basically the real life of Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was more retroactively. Like I read the book later as an adult, and I think both my grandfathers had already passed away, so I didn't like experience it as a kid. But I recognized it in reading that book, and I was like, man, there's a lesson right there in my own family.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so different of my story, I guess. I had a poor dad and a poor stepdad, and I think that was of course I love my parents. I love my dad and my stepdad, and he was the only dad I knew. And coming from humble beginnings and reading that book, after reading that book, absolutely changed my mentality, right? I knew I wanted to be in real estate, but I didn't know how yet. And I took a class maybe a year later after reading that book. It was principles at Cerritos College. I went to college
the real
there.
estate principles course.
Yeah, real estate
One of the
principles
prereqs
course.
for the exam. Okay.
And I actually took it in class.
Uh-huh.
Now you do it online, but I took it the old school way, and I took the next one, and then I told myself, I remember, man, this is so fascinating, like real estate investing. Like I want to, Robert Kiyosaki said, hey, if you wanna have financial freedom, you want to be in real estate because it's always going to appreciate no matter what. There's so many tax benefits owning real estate. Obviously, we both know now, and we do real estate, and that's what we help our clients to do, right? And help them invest in real estate. So that's how I got into really the idea of like, hey, being in real estate. Unfortunately, at that time, I was broke. I was still young. I was still trying to figure it out. I was on my own, and I didn't really know how am I going to get into real estate. But that's when I started my not real estate career, my sales career. Robert said, as you know, like if you want to be in real estate, you got to learn how to sell.
Really, if you want to be in anything, you got to learn how to sell. But obviously with real estate, because sales is a little part of just about everything we do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My bad. Let me reiterate that. If you want to be in business for yourself, like you got to learn how to
for sure
sell and talk to people. So that's when a couple years later, fast forward, that's when I got into real estate. Got my license during COVID because I was so bored and I was by myself at home. And yeah.
I want to go back a little bit though, because you cut your teeth in sales in some very difficult ways that a lot of people don't learn how to sell in the fields that you were in. Like, just kind of run through some of the different things that you were doing to learn your sales skills.
Yeah. First sales job I had was selling timeshare at Welk Resorts. I had a buddy. He was a good friend of mine. And man, he was the number one agent there selling timeshare. And I didn't have any sales job before and no experience. I did avionics in the Marines, and that was my only skill at that time. So I was like, you know what, how am I gonna get into sales? So I was like, oh, I know Jake. He hooked it up, got into the company, got my first sales job. A year and a half later, I didn't make any money, didn't make any commission. And then finally, I asked him, hey man, like, what are you doing differently? So he told me, I'll never forget this. Like, he said, hey, think of sales as a transfer of emotions. And that absolutely, like, just lit up a light bulb and hit me like a brick. And after that, me and him, we were at the top in the company. We were going to trips and recognitions. And to be honest, after that, everything was really easy to sell because a lot of the skill that I learned, and there's a saying, if you can sell timeshare, you can sell anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, pretty easy, right? People come in and just want to sign up right away.
No, it was a boiler room. Yeah.
I know, it's such a hard sales job, man. That's gnarly to cut your teeth doing that.
And I couldn't do it, to be honest with you. I couldn't do it, and I shared this with you before. Like, I couldn't do it for the rest of my life because every time I did it and sold something, I didn't really believe in the service and the product. It was eating my soul, and I knew I had to leave sooner or later. So
you have to believe in what you're selling.
Yeah, 100%. There's just so much you can do to keep selling that, and so after that, I did 24-hour fitness membership. I was selling memberships and physical fitness at 24 hours.
Another sales job?
UTC.
Mm-hmm.
I knew, hey, I got to learn how to do phone sales. And that was 80% of my activity was on the phone, at the gym, at UTC Mall, Super Sport, 24-hour fitness. And I was going to college at that time at UCSD. And man, I was on the phone all day, every day, and it was a good experience. I learned phone sales, and after that, DirecTV, selling DirecTV in Costco's and AT&T Internet. I'm one of those guys with a black shirt, polo shirt with DirecTV logo on the side. And we're
just flagging people down as they walk in the store?
Yeah, flagging people down and getting rejected at least 100 times a day. In my face, people just like, you know what, I'm just here for the rotisserie chicken in the back. I'm just here for the good deals. I'm just here for the pizza. but I'm not here for DirecTV. But imagine, like, it's an obsolete service product, and I was selling that. I was selling DirecTV in Costco's, in the 13 Costco's here in San Diego County.
So yeah, I mean, I was talking to Josh Pono, one of our previous podcast guests, and he was talking about the idea was that like coming to this industry with any kind of sales experience, let alone the very difficult type that you've experienced, is so different than the majority of agents that come into our industry thinking, I worked with my agent to buy my house. It seemed pretty easy. I'm going to go make a bunch of money and do that on the side. Or, you know, these guys don't work that hard and they have fat commissions. I'm going to go do that. And like, that's a very different mindset to walk into this buzzsaw of an industry compared to where you came from, where real estate sales almost seems easy compared to DirecTV and Costco or timeshare at Welk Resort. Like, those are very difficult sales. And here in real estate, it's like, well, I just need to make my calls and meet with people and show them I know what I'm doing. Like, that's like, so many people don't even want to do that groundwork in our industry, but it was probably a little bit of an easier lift for you, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, before you got into real estate, like you sold what, like loans, right? Like you did loans for a long time.
Yeah.
So how, like, what you did there, like what are some of the things that that helped you in the loan industry, the lending industry to real estate?
The biggest thing when I made that transition was that I was carrying with me an understanding of how that whole side of the transaction worked and a solid understanding of how to talk to other agents. So then as one of the agents in the transaction, now I know how to talk to that other person on the other side. More importantly, if I'm on the listing side, I know what questions to ask the loan officer or that other agent. Or if I'm on the buy side, I know how to keep things moving on track, because there's this area of understanding and knowledge that most agents just don't have, because I spent years doing it. So it was a value prop. And it's something that I to this day will mention to prospects and to clients, especially buyers. But I don't feel like it carries the weight that maybe it should. They're just like, oh yeah, that's cool, you have that experience, but it doesn't always. Sometimes they're like, oh yeah, I used to do that, right? And they'll ask me a question. But a lot of times it's just another little footnote validating my experience at this point for me. Yeah.
I think the skills that you've learned, like the people skills, being a lender, carries over to the real estate more than the skill itself, like doing the loan.
Knowing how to set up the file.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah, and there was an interesting, middle phase in between that. I feel like I've had three main chunks in my career, which is the mortgage work and then the foreclosure sales, and then now the traditional real estate that I'm like parking it there. I'm staying here until I decide on something different. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about the future in real estate. And I'm just glad that I'm part of a team that's forward thinking, and we're always ahead of the curve in the market.
Let's go back a little bit more, because you growing up on a small island, Marines, college, learning sales, and then you're like, did you have to get licensed to sell at Welk?
No.
No. Okay. So then you get licensed, and tell people a little bit about your kind of research process, because like that's literally the way we met. Is you called me up and talked to Spencer, and then we got beers and chatted. But before that, you had talked to some other teams and brokerages. Like for folks who are maybe at that stage in their career and they're just getting licensed, or maybe they're switching from a place that took them from zero to here, but now they want to go from here to there. Like, how did you go about settling on where to park it and do your work?
Yeah. Obviously, everybody knows Keller Williams, Century 21, Pacific Sotheby, Coldwell Banker West, and Realty. A lot of these, I would consider them legacy companies, right? Real estate brokerage legacy firms. And I came across EXP through the stock itself, because Grant Cardone, he was promoting the stock or the company. Right.
Was that before or after his wife took a prominent position with the brokerage?
Oh man, I don't even know. But
because eventually she's on board now.
Really?
His wife, yeah, she works with EXP.
Oh wow, I didn't know.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was just like, I was just researching the next stock that, to invest in. And I came across EXP and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And as you know, like I sold vitamins before, USANA, Amway, like a lot of these
More
network
sales
marketing,
experience.
right? Network marketing, multi-level marketing companies, right? It was direct sales, right? Different names, but pretty much the same. And I was very intrigued by the business model of EXP. It was different and something that I was aware of, but at the same time, like, wow, this is like something that I've been looking for. I didn't even know it existed. Like, you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't even know what you want unless you see it. And I didn't realize like that's what I was looking for when I came across EXP, because there's so many different ways to make money in EXP, right? One, it's cloud-based, right? We got that virtual, what do you call it?
The world, the brokerage,
world,
yeah.
the virtual world, right? You can pretty much do anything there, and they were very technologically advanced compared to a lot of these legacy firms, and that's one thing that I really like about EXP. So, and another thing was the rev share, something that you talk about all the time, and then the stock option, right? Like I probably I haven't checked in a while, more than a year, but I probably have like 6 figures already there, and I don't even know about it.
Yep.
Because it gets, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you get maximum that you can contribute from your commission is 5%. Your commission, and you get 10% discount. I don't know if they're still doing that.
I think it's
right
backwards, isn't it? Is it 5% max?
I think it's 5% max.
Okay, I think the discount is 5% though.
So they changed it. So it used to be a 10% discount. So imagine you invest in a stock, you get 10, at least before when I first started, you get 10% gain.
And you could sell it immediately if you wanted.
Yeah.
Like we have kept ours, but if you want to just collect 10% every check, you could buy it and then sell it if
100%.
you wanted to.
It's crazy. And it gets taken out of your commission before it even goes to your account, your bank account. And that's, I was like, wow, like no other company is doing that as far as I know.
Which you can call a retirement plan, because if you leave that alone and you keep peeling off 10% or 5% of every check, and it goes away and it just grows because the stock went from a penny stock literally a few years ago to now being traded on the NASDAQ. And now who knows where it's going to go from here. Like that could be your retirement plan if you didn't have rev share that you're working on or other investments in real estate and everything else. Like it's just something that other brokers just don't offer.
Yeah. And I don't want to get into the details. I remember when I first started, like you showed me, like, man, you had like, good chunk in there.
Yeah.
Good amount in there. And I was like, wow, like it just grows and grows. Like that's the best part about EXP. It's like you can build wealth in so many different ways through rev share. I mean, everybody recruits anyways, like, right? Brings in new agents. Like you might as well get compensated by it. And the good thing is they don't take away from the agent who you bring in. EXP, as far as I know, right? They compensate separately.
Yeah, and part of the way they're able to do that is by being a cloud brokerage and not having tons of cash buried in commercial real estate for offices all over the country.
The overhead is very low for EXP, and that's why if they take care of their agents, right, and they take care of the people that are actually producing, I feel like it's a win-win. That's why I think that's one of the reasons why like I was so intrigued by EXP, because everybody wants everyone to win. Because it's a win-win situation, right? Like the more you help other people succeed, like the more you're going to be successful. And
it puts you, almost forces you to be in alignment with the people around you to want to help them to do better because you're going to benefit from it.
Yeah, it's a
win. It's a true win-win. Yeah.
Yeah, there's an interest, and there's really nothing wrong with that. Like, might as well, right? That's why we have such a giving mentality and abundance mindset at EXP. Like that's the culture that I want to be in, and ultimately that's how I ended up at EXP. And just to answer your question, when I figured out, okay, I want to be in EXP, It came down to Keller Williams and EXP. And the only reason why, because I read that book, that EXP book, the Keller Williams book, I think Make Six Figure, 1 million.
Millionaire real estate agent.
Million real
MREA,
estate agent,
yeah.
right? I read that book and I was like, okay, cool. KW has been around for a long time. And then EXP. And then as soon as I figured out, okay, I want to be in EXP, then that's when I started calling people up.
So you had made up your mind on the brokerage before you really started taking any interviews?
Yeah.
You had kind of like evaluated on your own and said,
Actually,
okay, I think I want to go in this direction.
Actually, I interviewed a few Keller Williams offices,
Okay.
and then I realized, okay, I want to be in EXP, and then that's when I went online. I just, did a Google search, very simple. It's not rocket science. And then J.C., his office was one of the offices. Like I was looking for, I like the cloud-based, virtual EXP model, but like I was looking for an EXP broker or an agent office that I wanted to be physically going in, and I saw yours online. I was like, okay, let me call these people up and other offices here, different teams here in San Diego, and yeah, I called you. Spencer picked up. He talks about this all the time, brags about it all the time. And he's like, yeah, man, I worked for JC and let's go get a beer. You want a beer? All right, let's meet at Point Loma. Then we all met up and the rest is history.
That's right. And so you already have sales skills. You had just gotten your license. You had kind of pre-vetted ahead of time. You already knew it was going to be a team at EXP. You didn't know which one. You came, met with me and Spencer. We were cool enough for you to meet again, and then you met some people at the company and you came on board. Tell the folks what happened over the next year or two there after that.
Yeah. So before I talk about that, the next year or two, my first couple years in the industry, I had a couple of things that I wanted to check box, right? I have like qualification in you and being at Whissel was like it checked all the boxes for me. Like one, I was looking for a top producing agent, and obviously you are one of those top producing agent at EXP. I wanted someone who's actually producing at that time and who had a physical office, and that checked that box. And I was looking for a team who would provide the systems, the resources and tools that helps new agents become successful. The training, that was really important for me. And I feel like Whissel Realty, got that hands down. They got the blueprint. And most importantly, I think for me, I needed clients. And the good thing about Whissel Realty, our team, they provided new leads for new agents.
Yeah.
So combination of resources and tools, training, a mentor. I was looking for a mentor who's actually producing at the time, top producing agent. That was you. You brought me in and brought me in under your wing. And the rest is history. So to answer your question, first and second year. First year, we were in the same office for a whole year. And I listened to your calls and the way you did things and your processes, the way you talk to your clients and negotiation skills, like everything, like your activities every day. All I did was copy it. And man, first 6 months, 2021, I did 15 transactions. And then year 2022, full year, I did 30, basically doubled. And then 2023, last year, I did 50. I was trying to do 60, but I did 50. So it's been a crazy ride, and a lot of growing pains and trials and tribulations. Life kept happening, right? It wasn't happening to me; it was happening for me, and that's the reason why I grew, and I was able to reach the level where I am today.
And you were able to grow in one of the hardest years that we've seen in a long time. I read some stat. I think the overall number of transactions nationwide in 23 were almost half, like significantly fewer than like 08 and 9. In the middle of the worst downturn, there were still more deals being done.
Yeah.
Even if they were all short sales or foreclosures or whatever, there were more transactions for agents to get their hands on
I didn't know that.
back then than there were last year in this extremely difficult market just because of the gridlock and nobody wanted to sell, nobody wanted to buy. And you came on and almost doubled your numbers again in year 3, which is impressive, dude. Mad props to Adrian Quijano.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, everybody always asks me, like, what's your secret? What's your secret, right?
People ask me that, and I'm like, I don't even know what to tell them. I'm like, we're next to this guy. I don't know what his secret is. I don't know.
Yeah, to be honest, I ask, Melissa Tucci, she's a beast, she's a legend here in San Diego County. I always ask the same thing to her. Like, and it's funny because I say the same thing to other people, and she's telling me what I'm telling other people. It's really just hard work. You just gotta put in the time, the effort, and you gotta stay consistent. You gotta be consistently persistent in this business. You gotta treat people with kindness, and you just gotta put your client's best interests first, and everything else will follow.
I think also something I noticed with you once you really started feeling your groove is that, are you familiar with the reticular activator? You know, have you heard that phrase before?
No.
So you'll know the concept, like the idea of if you're looking at buying, a black car of a certain model, like you're going to start seeing those cars everywhere on the road, right? Because you're tuned into that. It's just, you're not looking for it, but it's there because you're thinking about it in the back of your mind.
Gotcha.
I feel like your antenna was just up, and still is. Like, you're telling me, DMV, met a lead. Like, no matter where you're at, you're just meeting people, like just going through life, and somehow leads or deals come together because it's like you're just like tunnel visioned in on that, and it's just produced fruit. Like, it's just working because that's what you're focused on right now, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's something that it's a level of focus that a lot of people don't get to maybe ever, you know? It's just being locked in.
I guess you're right. I think focus. It's such an undervalued skill, in my opinion. And I think an interviewer, he was interviewing these 2 billionaires, Warren Buffett and his Microsoft person. Oh, what's his name?
Bill Gates.
And what's the number one thing in one word, like that you would give advice to other entrepreneurs and business owners? One word, they both said focus. It's crazy, you know, and I think for me, coming from a tiny island, I think I tend not to overcomplicate things because I don't have that. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I came from, like low education, family household, and I guess because of that, I keep everything so simple. Like, oh, okay, all I gotta do is just show up, show up. Like, I remember when we first met, you guys were telling me, you and Spencer, you guys were telling me about the expectations in order for you to get leads. Like, there's different levels, right? And you were telling me, wow, you gotta show up to the huddles, you gotta role play, and you gotta practice and show up to the meetings, trainings, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm listening to that. I was like, wow, like that's all you have to do to get leads? That's all you have to do to get leads?
Just be a team member and participate?
And something that I need to do anyways to work on myself and work on my business.
Right.
To build my business, like literally, like, and that's all I need to do. And I was so mind blown. And I don't know what comment I remember, I think Spencer said, dude, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised people don't show up.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And that's the reason we're bringing in 10 to 15 agents every month and seeing 3 to 5 go out the back door.
It's crazy. Every month we're, people are leaving and either leave, most of the time they're getting kicked out, and then we're bringing people in. I think there's a saying, I remember I read from a book, the things that you need to do to be successful in whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? Because success means different to different people.
100%.
Right? Some people, they say, hey, success to me means like being the best dad that I can be, best father. Some people, best mother, or I want to be the best chef in the world. Whatever the case may be, right? It could be something simple, right? To me, I remember I read this. Success, the things that you have to do to be successful is easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. Like those daily habits, they're easy to do, but the catch is they're also easy not to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's the catch, right? If you just keep doing what you're supposed to do every single day, staying focused, staying consistent, consistency is the key, in my opinion, in real estate. And then eventually you get there.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. I mean, everybody's level of success is not doing 60 transactions, next year. Like that's not for everyone, because some people may have priority of saying, I'm only working half the week and I'm still making money for my family because I can spend I'm the coach of my kids' team. I'm here for whatever. Like that's a different, and it's just what your priority is, right? Like success is different. And that's why the whole concept of this podcast is fun for me, because like agent success can mean a lot of different things. Most of the stuff we do is talk about tips and tell stories about what difficulties people got through in order to achieve their success. But it's not just financial, it's really defined by the individual. It's not defined by you or me of what's successful for someone watching this right now.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. And some people, hey, they just want to sell one house per month, and that's enough to like maybe build a college fund for their kids. And some people, hey, I just want to be able to pay my bills, and don't have to work for somebody else.
Yeah.
Don't have to like ask for permission to take vacation. Like some people, it's freedom, right? And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to be in real estate, is have more freedom. I guess for me, it was just a little bit different, and I'm sure you can relate. Like for us, if we're gonna do something, right? If we're gonna do something, might as well be the best that you can be, and perform at a high level. Like I feel like for most agents, they want to perform at a high level and be the best that they can be, but unfortunately, not everyone's willing to put in the work. And I see you, till this day, you still do your calls, you do your power hour, you still follow up, clear your segments. What that means, like you still just following up with clients and putting those relationships, no matter where you're at in the business. Like you've been in the business way longer than I am, and you're producing, but you're still making an effort on making those calls. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, you don't get tired of eating shit. like it's not going to go away. Like as long as you want to continue to sell homes next month, you're going to have to continue to call people and get hung up on, and do the things that you learned as a new agent. Like those things don't change unless you somehow figure out how to make money without producing. And some people do that. Some people move on to investments or other things, and they get out of production. Some people move into management positions. But when you're in production, that's part of the deal. Yeah. We are salespeople first, which means we have to put ourselves out there, and that's going to come with plenty of rejection, but it's also going to come with great rewards where we can make good money and we can take those vacations that we want without asking for time off.
Yeah.
And things like that. So it's a win-win, or give and take, I mean, more than anything. Yeah.
No, I agree, and I feel like that's part of our job. Like that's our job description, is to like build a relationship with other people, right? Whether they're gonna buy a house or not, like that's our job, is to follow up and just touch base, right? It's
Absolutely.
Like an actor. Like their job is to act in front of the camera.
Our job is to have conversations with people about real estate.
100%.
Even if it's not tomorrow, it's 2 years from now.
Yeah.
That's one more conversation that I can check off the box that I had today about real estate with a potential client sometime in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And the good thing is, like, we're not tied. We're unemotionally tied to the outcome. I think that's the key, 100%. Right? Like, we get so many rejection every single day. And I hear you get rejected every single day back in the day, and it's crazy. But we don't get bogged down by it. Our job is to provide value, and when the time comes, we're there. We're top of mind because why? We're saying Merry Christmas, Thanksgiving, and we're inviting them to our events. Like we have one coming up. We're renting out a whole movie theater, and if they come, great. We get to touch base with them and catch up, and they don't have to be buying or selling homes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
our job. I feel like a lot of people just overcomplicate it, and I feel like yes, we are salespeople, but some agents, they're too salesy. Yeah, and it's all about transaction. It's not the long game for them. They're from one transaction to the next. Like,
Yeah, I'm listening to a book right now, and the author kind of like makes a distinction between the self and the ego. And like the ego gets crushed when things don't work out, and the ego is only, as satisfied as that last transaction or the last interaction with a client. And the self knows that's not where my self-worth is. The self knows like that if you believe in God, that it comes from God like we do, or that, your relationships are what matter and not a transaction. And so if you can live in the self and not the ego, you can take those L's and brush it off and keep going and not let that be resistance for you to screw the whole day. Now I've lost a whole day of calls because I let that get me down and I wanted to go do admin work over here or leave the office early or whatever. Like, no. If you're
create a flyer for like 2 hours.
Play around with Canva.
Play around with Canva.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, we have to know, like, done. Okay, that was not a cool experience. That person was lame. Moving on. Like, you have to be able to brush it off. And that's something that you probably learned in sales before you even got into this real estate industry. Because that's, I can't imagine timeshare, like probably so much more rejection than even real estate.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to like, cool, next, and keep going. Because you cannot allow that to break you or to even take you off your game, let alone go fiddle with Canva for an hour or leave the office early, right? Like that's you're never going to get anywhere if you get taken off your game that quickly and easily.
Yeah, it goes back to that focus, right?
Yes.
I feel like people tend to justify what they're doing every single day. There's a difference between being busy, right, and being productive. Because you can be busy, playing around with Canva, looking at your email inbox, and
telling war stories by the water cooler. And all of a sudden, an hour has gone by, and like, oh, I had a busy day.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Absolutely. and then you tell yourself, oh, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go take 2-hour lunch. It's crazy, right? Like, but that's why you gotta stay focused. And you just gotta put in, hours of productivity, right? And I talked about this before, like IPAs. I call them income producing activities. One of my buddy, Derek, I just learned this from him. He said MMA. You know what MMA is?
It's not mixed martial arts, I take it.
No, it's not. Very similar to IPAs. He said MMA, money making activities.
Is that Okahashi?
Yeah,
That's
Derek
a good
Okahashi,
one.
That's my boy. Derek, hey, hit him up if you want to buy and sell in
Oahu.
Hawaii, Oahu.
Yeah.
Hit him up.
Yeah.
He's gonna take care of you.
And you can't miss him. You go to YouTube, you're gonna find him.
Yeah, Derek Okahashi.
Yeah.
That's my boy.
Yeah, he's solid. He just gave me a good name for a different island on Kauai. I had somebody out there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's cool. He helped me find my CPA and that team over there. So
That's next level. I mean, kind of a little bit more color that people don't need to have, but like the fact that you came on so quick and did so well, you've already taken down your first piece of property here in San Diego, and you're already looking for the next one. And with that comes need for support. You've got admins now. You've got buyers agents. You've got a new CPA and tax team. Like you've built out a lot, and you haven't just said, okay, I had a couple really good years, let me keep doing that. No, you're doing the other things that go with that to support you and enable you to continue to grow. It's like, because Tom Ferry always says this. I don't know if he took it from someone else, but what got you there what got you here won't get you there, right? Like, because you already did different things to get to this level, but now you're going to a whole nother level. And the same activity, you're going to need different support, different activities, different things to continue carrying on.
No, I agree. It's not easy. It's so uncomfortable when you're trying to scale your business. And eh, I remember when it was just me, and I was going to your office. I'd be like, hey, dude, like, how can I get an assistant, or like, what are some of the activities and responsibilities that assistants should have? Like, I had no idea how to scale and bring in people, but in with the help of your guidance and advice and Kyle and other people before me, like I was able to scale my business, bring in the right people, right? Not only in the back end of the business, which is my CPA, my financial advisor, business advisor, bookkeeper. I mean, they're not cheap, but here's the thing. Like one thing that I've learned, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. It's crazy. I'm gonna say that again. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And for me, I've seen so many people that that made that mistake where they make so much and their lifestyle starts to increase as well, right? It's like I mean, it's basically the rat race, right? Like the more money you make, the more expenses you're gonna have. Like it just doesn't make sense, right? Like that's one of the reasons why I wanted to be in business for myself and be a realtor is because like I wanted to be able to like, you know, create that unlimited income. The more whatever I put in, like that's what I'm gonna get. Hopefully, right? That was the dream. And when I get there, like I want to be able to keep most of that commission and that revenue.
So now
that
you're
I work so hard.
incorporated, you can take advantage of your tax benefits. Like now things are different than they were before.
100%.
Yeah.
And that took a while and a lot of pain because I'm so I want to be in control, right? Like, but in order for me to get to your level, to Kyle's level, I needed to grow like that. I needed to be uncomfortable, bringing an assistant. I brought in a virtual assistant, and then I brought in another one, and the next thing you know, I have a co-listing agent, and then now I have a showing agent, and it's crazy. And this is a span of 1 year. So
and you bought a house in there.
Yeah, and I bought a house, and I'm buying another house, and it's crazy. And I just paid my whole. I just filed my taxes, my business and personal tax returns, and I paid the whole thing. Just boom. I told my CPA. He asked me like, "Do you want to do like installments, blah blah blah, etc." I'm like, no, I just don't want to think about it. Like, I want to just go ahead and file it. I want to pay it.
Stroke the check and look the other way.
Yeah, exactly. And it was, I'll tell you, I promise you, if you just put in the work, work it like a job, treat it like a business. I'm going to say that again.
100%.
Work it like a job, treat it like a business. Do it for at least a year to 2 years.
Without picking your head up.
Yeah.
Just go.
Just grind. And if I told you're gonna make $1 million but the catch is grind for 2 years straight, put in at least 40 hours a week of just productivity.
But in reality, it's more like 50, 60 hours.
Yeah, 50, 60, right? But at least 40 hours like of productivity, and trust me, you're gonna make. You're gonna make the money, but not only that, like the people that you're gonna help, and you're gonna change their lives. Like imagine, you get compensated for helping other people, and that's one of the reasons why I got into real estate. Is like helping other people get their dream home, their first home, their forever home.
Changing the trajectory of their family forever, but just by being a homeowner as opposed to a renter. Like it's that significant.
Yeah, 100%.
They're so much better off, and that's why you and I, can feel so strong and so confident in the product that we're selling, as opposed to like you're describing with timeshare. Like you understand people can enjoy it, have a good time, but in the back of your mind, you're like, I don't know if this is really the best move for some of these people. There's probably virtually no times when people aren't better off buying than renting, or better off keeping a place and buying a second one. Like you're improving your life for the long run by working with Adrian or by working with me.
With you.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. But hey, no pain, no gain, right?
That's right. So obviously, we talked about mindset. We talked about a lot about sales skills, the grind, and not just letting up on yourself. Is there any other main themes that you might want to pass on to say, like, hey, if things aren't quite, if you're not quite hitting the numbers that you're looking for, like, zone in on X or Y?
Yeah. I think there's two parts of real estate, and you can agree. I think it's mindset, right? That's one side. I think that's first, and then the how tos. The
Sales
how
skills.
tos, the skills set, right? Working on your skills at how to write an offer, negotiation skills, how to overcome objections, how to talk to clients, all that stuff. How to do an open house, like those and use like the resources and tools that we have, right? The systems that we have, like those. Yes, it does take a while to sharpen those skills, but in my opinion, I think it's having a vision, right? Having the right mindset, but also having a vision. There's that famous scripture from the Bible, like a man without a vision is.
No, I don't remember what it.
Come on, I'm not really good with the Bible verse, but without man without vision has no future, somewhere around there. But you have to have a vision, and you gotta be able to visualize yourself being successful in real estate, because
And not just having a fat bank account, but doing the things that lead to success, right?
yeah,
Because there's a
absolutely.
difference. Envisioning yourself as successful, meaning, oh, I got all this money and I'm maybe in this killer house and this sweet car. That's not the vision of success that you're talking about. Like the vision
Yeah.
is doing the work, and those are the results.
Yeah, 100%. No, I agree. Like, you have to have vision, but also like you have to marry it with hard work, right? Like the activities, the daily activities that we talked about, in having faith and trusting the process, right? Some people they call it different things, but I think just walking by faith and not by sight, and just trusting the process. Hey, look, because some people they ask me, like, where do you get your deals? Like, where are you finding these clients and these properties? And I tell them, I don't know. Like,
They don't want to hear,
they
I don't
just
know.
come.
That's not
They
what they want to hear.
just come. Like because I have so much faith, and I trust the process. As long as I go to work, I show up. How to show up to anything is how you show up to everything. Like Kai always says, but I just show up and do the do, right? And then, like, for example, like that recent transaction you had, that recent client, like you were just following up, and then out of the blue, because you followed up for a couple years. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And you kept in touch and inviting him to the events, and the next thing you know, when the time was right, out of the blue, he just says, "Hey, I want this house. Are you still in real estate?"
Amazing.
And it was like a $3 million house.
336.
Yeah, crazy. And you were like jumping, and this is actually happening. And but imagine if you didn't like do the do every single day and followed up and kept in contact with that client, that individual, like he wouldn't have like remembered you, right?
Yeah.
And if you ghosted him, he's gonna ghost you just like any other people.
Totally.
Whether it's in real estate or your personal relationship, like it's you're gonna have to like reach out to these people, like you reach out to your mom, you reach out to your brother and sister, your cousins.
Call your mom.
Yeah, absolutely. Mom, what's up, mom? What's up, dad? But anyways, I already forgot where I was going with this.
Faithfully doing the income producing activities and allowing
Yeah.
the results to be what they are. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, and just and just doing the right activities, right, every single day. And this is what I always preach to people. When I first started, my number one goal, because there's so many things going on, I get in my brain, I keep it simple, right? Simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss.
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid. And only because, like, again, I'm not the smartest guy in the block, but I think I'm resourceful and I keep it very simple. And I think that's my advantage. Because there's so many things to do every single day, like flyers
Work is
and
never
events
done.
and stuff. It's never ending. But I had one goal, right? If you're a brand new agent or an aspiring agent, like remember this, one goal every single day is to book at least one appointment a day.
Keep it simple.
That was literally my goal. Like that was my daily task. Hey Adrian, if you can book at least one appointment a day, the day was good. The day
And if
was
you make
good.
a habit of that, booking one appointment every day,
Yeah.
even if you've got a terrible closing rate,
Yeah.
you're going to have a lot of deals.
Yep, 100%. And the
Yeah.
numbers don't lie. Like I always tell people, yeah, go on Sisu because that's how we track numbers. Go on Sisu, and guess who's got the most appointments set and met in the company, right? And those are the people who are doing the most transactions.
Yep.
So the more people you talk to, obviously they got to be legit. You can't be like, putting an appointment there with your mom, or your brother you guys are not talking about real estate. It's got to be, somewhat related to real estate,
Yeah.
whether they're buying or selling. But yeah, at least one appointment a day. And then number two is to get better every single day. Not to close transactions, not to, win over somebody else, like, is to get better every single day. And how do you get better is read books, watch the videos that we post online, ask questions, right?
Practice. Do role plays.
Role plays.
Yep.
Just show up. But hey, if you have a growth mentality, you come in every single day, booking at least one appointment a day, your brain will start to try to figure out what are some of the ways that for you to book an appointment. Like I think if you have that one goal and you try to learn and be better every single day, everything else will follow. Because if you can't even book and talk to somebody and book an appointment with somebody, how are you going to do a buyer consultation? All the stuff, all the practice that you've done and all the training, how to do a listing appointment, how to write a contract, negotiation, all of those things don't matter if you don't meet with somebody. If you don't talk to a
100%.
human being, like all those things don't matter unless you meet with people and then hey, you're going to suck in the beginning. Don't worry. You're going to suck like me. How many hours did it take me to write my first offer? Remember that? It took me like 3-4 hours, and I messed it up still.
And you had some help.
Yeah. Yeah, you helped me, and you're like, man, I'm tired of this. Talk to Spencer, right? And we had a Zoom call, and it took me
But here's the thing, though.
hours.
You fumbled through that the first time, and it was rough, and maybe a couple times more. But after that,
Yeah.
you were off to the races. Do you know how many times there's people that are on their 5th, 6th, 8th transaction, and they still, hey, can you help me with this? Like, they didn't learn it the first or second or third time.
Yeah.
Like, so there's a difference there. I mean, you're very humble. You say, I'm not the brightest guy here. But I'm going to figure this out. And I'm not going to have to ask about this anymore. Because that's called building your sales skills. You learn something, and it's in there now.
Yeah.
And it's not something that someone helped me, and then I don't have to learn that. They can help me again in the future. Like, no. You're getting better, like you said. Like, that's the difference.
Right. And I think to touch upon that, it's not because I'm smarter than everybody else. It's because like I actually have systems for me to learn, right? Like I write things down. And
You're
and
intentional
I record.
about it.
Yeah, I was intentional about it, right? It goes to that second thing every single day is learn and grow every single day. Like strive to get better every single day. So if someone's teaching you and putting the time and effort, right? Like time is valuable.
Take it seriously.
Take it seriously and
Yeah.
actually take notes and record. Like I recorded every single thing that he said.
Yeah.
And I listen to that every single day, in the shower, in the gym, and until I internalize it. And that was the key. And if you have a growth mindset, everything else will follow. It's really that simple, guys.
Yeah. I think that those, in true Quijano way, keeping it simple with the 2 main tips, book an appointment every day and always improve yourself. It's not just for new agents. That's for medium tier agents. That's for team leads. That's for everyone. Because frankly, most people are not booking appointments every day. And a lot of people have maybe improved, grown, learned, but maybe they're not in a continual process of growing and improving. So I think that's two fantastic, simple pieces of advice that you could just walk away from and say, that's right. I could just forget about everything else, focus on this, and my production will skyrocket.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
dude, thank you for that.
Yeah, appreciate it, bro.
Dude, thanks for being on today. Adrian Quijano, shout out your socials if you want.
Yeah, you can find me on all the social media out there, Instagram, adrian.quijano, and on TikTok, I just recently made one, Quijano San Diego, for TikTok, and YouTube, Facebook. You can just find me there.
And we'll put it on the screen so they know how to spell it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Adrian.Quijano, Keanu Reeves, but with a Q. Let's go. AQ, Quijano San Diego.
Thanks, man.